Yet again, as before, the fillet is the piece of muscle inside the animal, and then the sirloin is on the outside with the rump. Okay. First thing we do is remove this. Very careful, we just remove There's your rump fillet, removed. Again, all we do is trim a little bit of the fat off. Rump skirt we remove. Just remove the tail, only a tiny bit. Top off to remove any gristle. That's the rump fillet. And again, either leave it like that, or you can cut a steak. Makes a lovely beef Wellington. Or just cut, as we say, as nice steaks, depending how large and thick you want them. Just ask the butcher to cut them as large as you want. Next piece is the rump, the most common one that people know and like. Right, first thing we do is remove it off the bone. Fat from the tail. Okay. Remove this bone, that's the last bit. And there you go, that's the rump bones. Most of the bones that we remove years would have gone as waste, but now we use most of our bones, we saw them down for either stock bones or for pet food, which is a lot better use of what we were doing before with bones. Instead of throwing them away, they now have a use. People seem to spend more money on their pets, making sure they have the best, than they do themselves nowadays. So a good treat is a nice bone. Just ask your butcher if he's got any, or if he can put you some back, and then they'll probably be quite happy to do that for you. That is the rump there. So what I will do is remove the rump tail from the side. Trim that. Some people like it, they just dice it. You can roast it as a small joint, cut it really nice and thin, absolutely beautiful with a nice sauce or a salad, or just cut it a little bit thicker and do it as like a braising. It's a lovely piece of meat. Trim this excess bit here, and you remove the gristle. Nobody likes gristle, so we try and remove as much as we can of the hard gristle. Some of the gristle within the body is quite fine and is like more like a jelly, so when you do come to cook it, it just melts away quite nicely. Remove this top muscle off here. Again, we remove this because there is gristle in here and it does make it a little bit tough, and it's the one thing that people don't like is when they're having steak is to have to chew on a bit for 5 minutes. So it's just so easy just to remove it. And trim just a little bit of fat off the top. Remove the first steak. Right, the first steak we normally trim down is either a diced, do it for a stir fry, because of the large amount of gristle in there. Cut a nice steak. This is a good man-sized steak. That's what we like. And yet again, beautiful piece of steak. Fine piece of gristle that will just turn to jelly when you cook it, and a nice covering of fat just on the top. Yet again, as I said before, the fat you need just to help cook it, give it its own flavour. If you remove all the fat, then it just takes away that little bit extra flavour that you could put into the meat. And that is the rump there. They have gone to a way now that we remove this top flap, this top muscle. Let's take that off again. Butchery changes all the time. I've been butchering for about 27 years, and this is now the way that people like their steaks done. A lot of it is down to the celebrity chefs and the way they change things all the time, just to keep it alive, keep meat going all the time, keep people interested. Just by trimming it and cutting it different ways, just gives you a lovely piece of steak. Yet again, you can trim this all down. So you remove this cap. With anything, if your butcher's preparing your meat and there's something on there you don't like, say like the little piece of gristle, just ask them to remove it. It's not too much trouble. It makes you happy, it keeps you coming back. And then something like that, yet again, we can cut as some steaks. Yet again, you can thinly cut it, do for things like stir fry. It makes a beautiful piece of stir fry. Roast it as a joint. As I say, we can put some bands on there or just tie it, make that as a lovely rump joint. Yet again, same here. We can tie this as a joint. We can slice it through either this way, or as they are now doing it this way, all the way through the meat. And yet again, you can buy rump. Once we've trimmed it like this, you can buy rump. Don't need to do it just as a steak, do it as diced for goulash. Cut it nice and thin, cut some beautiful pieces of for stir fry. Makes a lovely stir fry, good piece, absolutely lovely. I hope that's been a help and that's given you an idea where your meat comes from, and thank you very much.